This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Stick around to the end of the video for a special offer they're making available through my channel. Obsidian have a hell of a lot on their plate at the moment. In September, they'll be releasing the first DLC for their wildly successful RPG, The Outer Worlds. Given the success of that newly launched IP, we can only assume that more DLC and a sequel is on the way as well. Not content with stealing Bethesda's Fallout thunder, Obsidian have also announced their answer to the Elder Scrolls series. Avowed is a first-person RPG set in the same universe as the Pillars of Eternity series, and it's difficult to not be excited by the prospect of Obsidian taking all that existing lore, combining it with all that sweet Microsoft money, and fashioning it into what is essentially a second middle finger to Bethesda for all the times they fucked them over in the past. But in addition to all of this, Obsidian have found time in their day to make a tiny little survival sandbox game. And when I say tiny, I mean really, really tiny. Grounded is a game I played last year at XO19 in London. Here's what I said about it back then.
It should not have been shown as playable on the show floor of this. It was not ready. There's no part of it that really popped, no part of it that made me say, oh, I definitely want to see more of this. It just felt like every other survival sandbox game I've ever played, just in a different setting. Now,
The demo that I played then was a sort of Fortnite Save the World style experience where you had a limited amount of time to build a base and defenses before the sun would set and then spiders and ants would come and attack you. It was really average, and I remember thinking, man, I can't believe Obsidian made this. Fast forward to 28 July 2020, Grounded is released in early access. I play it soon after that. I'm immediately in love with this game, and I'm like, yes, Obsidian totally made this game. All's right with the world. So what changed in that time? Well, it's hard to say if the game itself has changed or they just showed off the wrong section of it on the show floor. But what was released in July this year, the game you can play right now, is smartly designed, charmingly immersive, extremely well optimized, and a hell of a lot more interesting than a simple tower defense game. Grounded asks the question, why the hell has no one made a video game based on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? It answers it in the form of a survival sandbox game that feels far closer to Subnautica than it does the multitude of more free-form survival sandbox games that sit half-finished in Steam's archives. You are a tiny person, a child specifically, who by some miracle of science has been reduced to the size of a really, really tiny insect. Bigger than an ant, smaller than a ladybug, and way smaller than a spider. With a clear desire to get back to your original size, you set out into the backyard to figure out a way to embiggen yourself. The setting for Grounded is so good that it genuinely makes you wonder why no one has used this setting before. It's literally a giant backyard with tall blades of grass and dandelion weeds and discarded juice boxes and garden rakes and a hot dog that's just totally a normal sized hot dog, but because you're small, it looks like a giant hot dog. It's a genuine thrill to chance upon this stuff because it's constantly reminding you just how minuscule you are versus the everyday objects we can so easily visualize. The game just feels like such a great adventure when you bump into this sort of stuff, and I really love it. The charm and uniqueness of this setting does a great deal to carry this experience because it's very much the same sort of eat, drink, gather, build, and survive fare that you've played in the past. I've only played a handful of these games, and even I found it very familiar, so diehards of the genre are going to know exactly what to expect here. As familiar as its components are, I was constantly impressed by how well designed and streamlined they were. This is a genre that so often forces the player to endlessly grind out repetitive tasks in the name of immersion, but Obsidian have struck the right balance between convenient and onerous. You are constantly hungry and thirsty, but those timers wind down slowly, and keeping yourself satiated isn't difficult. Craftable items all require a reasonable number of components, including more advanced items further into the tech tree. I never had to grind for anything. Everything the game asked of me felt entirely reasonable. This created a sense of flow and pace that I don't often experience when I play these types of games. I remember sitting down in the morning to play it, and the next time I checked my watch, it was like 7 hours later or something. I just didn't stop. I didn't feel the urge to stop. I just fell into Grounded's effortless rhythm of building and combat and exploration and survival in a way that I haven't felt since Subnautica. Oh yeah, by the way, combat. I forgot to mention that. Grounded's backyard is host to a wide range of creepy crawlies, from gnats that just piss you the hell off, through to spiders who can completely KO you the moment they see you. The spiders are sort of the main event here, with their terrifying sounds and lightning fast speed and relentless ferocity making them truly terrifying whenever you encounter them. Knowing full well that some people just nope the fuck out when it comes to spiders, Obsidian have kindly added in an arachnophobia mode, which is a slider that allows you to adjust how much the spiders look like spiders. In the middle setting, some basic anatomical features can still be discerned, but at the max setting, the spiders literally become floating jelly beans, but no less deadly. You can of course craft a small arsenal of weapons with which to fight back. A basic spear, axe, mallet, or bow are all that's available at the moment, but I'm sure we can expect more sophisticated stuff in the future, especially with all this science lying around. There's armor to be crafted as well, which I've made a fair bit of already. Sets are made from gathering materials or from the remains of your fallen foes, so yes, you can wear an ant head as a hat. If you want to show it all off, the game also offers a third-person perspective, which works perfectly fine as well, though I preferred the first-person view since everything just seems that little bit bigger when you don't have your body to use as scale. For me, the thing that gives me the greatest hope for the future of Grounded is how many unexpected moments of terror or wonder or humor I chanced upon. I remember coming back to my base once only to find a group of ants all just staring at me like, what's up? The next time I came back, the ants were robbing me. The ants had found my storage chest and were pillaging it. I had to kill them to get all my stuff back, and then that attracted the soldier ants, and the great ant battle ensued, and I died. Later on, a spider just trashed my base. Like, I was just hanging out and he was like, hey, what's up? I'm a spider. And then he killed me and wrecked my shit. I mean, I've only played this game a handful of hours and already I have stories to tell, and that's the goal with stuff like this. Create the sort of moments that you want to remember and share with others. And yeah, you can share them with others because co-op is supported. Up to 4 players can enter the world at any time and you can play through the whole experience in 4-player co-op. That's awesome. It's a good thing that this game was able to serve up these sorts of dynamic moments because there isn't a lot of story stuff in the game yet. I actually burned through Grounded's available story content in about an hour, maybe less. To be clear, Grounded is a story-driven survival game. Your quest to embiggen yourself has objectives, such as here where I had to power up 3 giant lasers to reveal where to go next. Doing so pointed me to the large oak tree in the distance, where I found a secret science lab. This is where the answers awaited me, but no sooner than I arrived there did the placeholder text box pop up telling me that the rest of the content was coming soon. Honestly, if you beeline the story stuff from the moment you load in, you can get through this content in around 5 minutes. Still, I think it's a testament to what's there that I'm keen to see and hear more. I like the setup, I like the writing, I like the humor, I like it all, it's great. There's basically nothing there now, but there will be one day, and I'm looking forward to coming back to it when the time is right. The survival sandbox genre is kind of famous for the whole early access thing, and part and parcel with that is often a lot of bugs and really poor optimization. I'm here to tell you that Grounded runs magnificently, just beautifully solid frame rates, very few crashes, maybe 1 or 2, and very functional netcode, very little in the way of bugs, except for the bugs. Overall, it's one of the most impressive early access packages I've seen when it comes to technical performance. Hell, there are games coming out next month that are in worse shape than this. Grounded isn't releasing properly for a long time yet. And I guess this is where I have to confess my biggest disappointment. I'm kind of bummed out that this game came out in early access. I mean, it's such a standard thing for these survival games to do this, and a lot of the time, those developers do it because they need the revenue that comes from the early access sales. Obsidian doesn't need the revenue, Microsoft owns them. They could have just made this game and dropped it when it was finished. It's not like it's some complex PvP game or MMO that requires huge amounts of player testing and balancing. You could release this game as a 1.0 on day 1, and I think that if they'd done that, this would have just gone completely gangbusters. If they were to have stayed the course on this trajectory that they're currently on with this fantastic setting and great writing and accessible yet immersive survival design and great optimization, if they had just worked on this in the background and dropped it when it was done, we'd have the first finished, truly excellent on day 1 survival game ever. That would have been a great success story. My very, very, very strong recommendation to you is to close this video and then just don't think about Grounded again until you hear it's finished. And when you do hear that, you should buy it. This is a great game in the making, and I think that if you enjoy this genre, this game is on track to carve out its place among the best examples of it. Don't play Grounded yet. It is too good, and you shouldn't spoil it for yourself. If you've got a blog or a hobby or a business idea that you want to take to the next level, then Squarespace is your best bet. Squarespace offers the world's best set of custom website design tools, allowing absolute beginners to immediately begin creating professional looking websites. They don't just look good either, they have almost everything your website will need for both you and the people viewing it. Stuff like appointment scheduling for clients, or traffic overview so you can see how many people are visiting your site. You can schedule posts so that you can put future content in the pipeline, and you can even build a comment section so you can begin building an online community. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch your idea, go to squarespace.com/skillup to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring the video, and thank you for watching it. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down so I know to do better for next time. If you enjoyed yourself, consider subscribing, and if you really enjoyed yourself, maybe consider hitting that notification bell so you never miss a video. You can see my patrons here on the left. They're awesome. They're amazing. If you want to join them, check out my Patreon page. Thank you again. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.